right, guys, we are here with Fernando. Tell me a little bit about yourself and where you're from.
So my name is Fernando Perez. I am a member of Meta Madness Gaming, and I am from the surrounding areas of Charlotte, North Carolina.
Nice. And where'd you play over the weekend and how'd you do?
So I played in the Booster Box's Virginia Gundam Regional this past weekend. I finished 8-2. I was able to finish 29th, so top 32 this
Nice.
weekend.
Really close to top 16.
Yeah, there were a couple games. The two that I lost, there were a couple decisions that I could have made that maybe would have influenced it a little bit differently. Could have maybe squeezed into the top 16, which is really the goal. Was aiming for that invite. So
Yeah.
I can't complain. It's a top 32 finish.
What were you running?
The most hated deck in the format. I'm actually running blue purple.
There you go. That'll get you there. And so tell me, what were your matchups?
So for my matchups, I played. I actually didn't play a single mirror in 10 rounds.
No way.
Yeah, so I played 4 green white, 2 blue white, 2 purple white, 1 red white, and 1 red green clan.
Wow. Not a single mirror match. It's
Not a
crazy.
single mirror match in 10 rounds is crazy. Especially because I heard some people saying that 5 of the 10 matchups were blue purple.
Wow, so you lucked out. All right, so why don't you, with further ado, let's get into the deck list.
Okay, so for the most part, it's pretty standard. There's really just like one card that I ran that most people don't really run. So to start off with all of the weenies, I ran 4 Grace Custom, 4 Zaku, and 1 GM. Outside of the Grace Custom, the others don't really matter too much, but I try to maximize on the purple ones that I ran just to try to try to keep my opponent from knowing my second color as long as possible. Then other staples that are definitely ran are 4 of the gun tank. That's pretty self-explanatory, just a ping and a cheap body. The core of the deck, 4 of the first form. It's an additional draw engine. It's just really strong. Then I ran 4 of the Hyakuren. I am running a 1 of Lupus, which is why I'm running just the purple, the Hyakuren and not the Roselle. But if you're not running Lupus, it doesn't really matter which you run. 3 Anksha. I cut the 4th for the Lupus because in theory, it's additional ping as well, just on a bigger body. And late game, we'd rather see a Lupus than pick up the 4th Anksha. The actual heart and soul of the deck, and it's what pushed blue purple to be top tier, is the adapt. The flexibility this card offers is really, like I said, what pushed the deck to the top of the meta. Just being able to ping anything, regardless of if it's rested or standing. It also linking with Mika is really nice because you can play this, play Mika, clear an opponent's weenie, and then still swing over something else. Lets you really swing the board back to your favor. 4 Grandpa Gundam, Grandpa is Grandpa, right? The +1 is massive in all aggro decks, and Amuro's Amuro. Now for the high end that I ran a 1 of NT1, just an additional Amuro link, and with Mika it's actually really good as well, because with Mika you can get the double ping, and then if your opponent has like a rested 2/2, then you can ping it with Mika, ping it with NT1, and they get the draw, which is nice. It's also a 4/4, so in the wing matchups it's really good because they can survive. It's a level 5, so they can't swing over it with the little wing, and so it lets you just establish a body that they can't really interact with unless they play like back-to-back wing. If they play back-to-back wing, a lot of times you're not winning that matchup.
Yeah, it's looking rough.
For the rest of my high end, I am playing 2 rebates, and then finally the 1 of Lupus. Honestly, the Lupus was the MVP this weekend. You're never gonna want more than 1 in a game, but most games you're gonna want 1. It actually won me 3 of my games this weekend, and so I had a little bit of a back and forth with the teammate of whether or not we should run it. But it's instrumental in the mirror. There are times where, like in the mirror, both of you just kind of build up a wall, and it's who can kill who first. And if you don't see Amuro to rest anything on your opponent's side, or if you don't see like double ping to get rid of a body, then I mean you just can't interact with your board. It doesn't matter how many units you establish, and they just kill you on the crackback. But with Lupus, you're able to clear at least one body, a lot of the times two, and so it's just really, really good. And then we are running 4, 8, 12, 16, 18 targets for it. So you're whenever by the time you play, you're always going to have at least one bullet, and a lot of times two.
Nice.
So, and then also it links with Mika. So I mean, at the end of the day, it's just a link that can clear.
It's a strong late turn play.
Yeah. It's a. It can trade into it can kill a wing, which is nice as well with the link, like an unlinked wing, and still survive 1 HP. Which against green white, 1 HP might as well be full health. So you have to trade a body into it. And then the rest of the staples: 2 shows just for extra draw power, 2 Corsica, which is Corsica's Corsica.
Yeah,
it was hit for a reason.
Yep.
2 white base to replace the 2 Corsica. White base is really, really good against the red matchup, because they have to keep burning cards out of their hand to deal with the tokens, and then you just keep getting free value from it. And then finally, the pilots, 4 Amuro, and then the 4 Mika.
Nice.
So, like I said, for the most part, pretty standard list. These are debatable. Most of the time, people run 4 big bodies, but it'll be maybe like 2 NT1s, 2 rebakes, or maybe 3 rebakes, 1 NT1. But like I said, Lupus it's just too good not to run.
Is there anything after this weekend you feel like you would want to change, or anything you feel like you could have did better?
So from the deck list itself, I don't think there's anything that I would change. The 2 losses that I had. So just to go over my matchups really quickly. Round 1, I played green white. It was pretty convincing win. I saw most of what I needed to see on curve, and then he overflow and affection into and got rid of an Ultron immediately. And so I just knew that I was playing against green white, so I just had to put the pedal to the metal, and he kind of braked. He had another Ultron, and then he did get to the point where he could play double wing, but I put an Amuro on a Rizal or on a Hyakurin, so that when he played his wing, it would survive with 1 HP, and then I was able to use my other bodies to like put him down to 0. And then so I had that, and then I also played an adapt, and then ping something else. So when he played the second wing, I had the adapt to just go for game. He had an empty board. So that was round 1. Round 2, I played against blue white, and it's the same thing. He saw blockers early, but he only saw Zawarts. He saw 2 Zawarts early, which just 1-for-1 trades with the weenies, and so I was just kind of able to push through. Round 3 was actually friendly fire. I played someone from the area who was on purple white, and I kept a greedy hand that I shouldn't have kept. And as I was doing it, I knew it was greedy for me to keep. But I had Gundam, Amuro, Hyakurin, and I think I had like white base in my hand. And so it was just greedy, but I had Gundam Amuro and I had a turn 3 play, and I figured if by my 2 resources I drew into a 2/2, then I would be okay. But I never did. I just kept drawing. So I ended up drawing another Gundam, an NT1, and then I ended up drawing all 4 bases that game. So
that's rough.
Yeah, and then he went, like I said, he was playing purple white. He went Hyakurin into Hyakurin into Hyakurin into 4th form link, and then he pinged the Hyakurin to get rid of one of my bases, and then just swung at life with the pinged 4th form, and then just put me super far behind. So I kept having to trade into his board. And as an aggro deck, that's never the situation you want to be in. Like I said, if I would have just mulled a hand in that game, maybe would have still lost that game, but definitely could have had a different outcome. So I lost round 3. Round 4, I played against the green-white, and I just kind of was able to steamroll it. Round 5, I played against the blue-white, and that one actually came down really, really close. But Lupus actually won me that game. I was able to swing a Hyakurin. He had the 4/6 freedom on board. I swung a Hyakurin, he blocked with it, and then I played Lupus. I was able to kill that rested freedom, and then I had another bullet to kill his award that he had, and then this just let me break base and use the rest of it to go for game. So Lupus won me that game. Round 6, I played against green white, and I made a misplay that cost me the game. He won die roll. He decided to go first, and I established 2 weenies and then a gun tank on 1, 2, 2, 3, and then I had Gundam ammo. On his third resource, he played a base and the Rick Diaz as his blocker. And so I rested the Rick Diaz, I cracked the base, and then I swung all 3 at life. His first life was a Hero Yui, so I saw that he got a pilot. I swung again, and then where I messed up was I should have traded the GM with the Rick Diaz because it had the +1, especially because I saw that he picked up the Hero Yui. But I kind of just got greedy, swung at life. He burst a Peace Million, and then on his 4 resource turn, he had the Peace Million up. He just put the Hero Yui on his Rick Diaz, traded it into my Gundam, and then played a launcher strike blocker. So I didn't really have anything to go through after that to clear his base. So it stalled me for a couple turns, and then the turn after that, he did Ale with a Hero, so down to 2-2. After that, he did Ale with Kira, and he did Baby Wing with Hero, and then he proceeded to play 4 blockers, or 4 bases. I cleared his last life. He put up a base, cleared that, and he was able to put up another base. And then it all happened from me just not making a simple trade in the middle of the game. So he was able to stall me out, and I just never was able to draw. I also only saw Win Amuro that game. Like, I only saw that Amuro was the only pilot I saw that game. And so even once he finally decided to go for life, my last fight was an Amuro. That was the only other pilot. So like, well,
too little, too late.
Yeah. Like I said, if I just trade the 2-2, then that game goes different. Because he would have been at 4 resources, so the only way he can get rid of my Gundam is if he has a Sword Strike Link. And that's asking for a lot early. And if he has that, then either way he doesn't establish any blockers, and I'm able to put a lot of damage into the base. After that, I played a red-white deck. He kind of bricked a little bit and didn't really have any burst in life, so I was able to I double Corsica, and so it was just a lot of pressure. I was able to win that pretty quickly. Round 8, then I played against a red-green clan. This one was actually really, really close, and I got kind of lucky, honestly. He burned his EX resource. He went second. He burned his EX resource on 3-4. He played double red Gundam. So he played red Gundam, then used another one to rest it, and killed one of the 2-2s. And so that he just kind of had me on the back foot most of the time. But in the late game, I established the Lupus. He played the Saikani that plays a body. And so he had 3 units on board. One of them rested that he swung with. And I was down to 1 life. I had the Lupus on board, and I was able to use the Lupus, clear his Saikani for 4 health, swing into the rested unit, and then his other unit was a Shugai's Gelgu, which had 3 health, and I did triple adapt to get rid of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That card is broken.
The card's insane. And so then from there, I was just, he established bodies, but he was already down to 3 shields, so I just swung all 3 adapts and then the Lupus for game. That one was really, really close down. Round 9 was also really close. I played against another green-white wing. He actually was the aggressor. He played 3 Rick Diaz's and was swinging at life, so I ended up having to trade into his board. And then we kind of both fell into a little bit of a top deck war, but blue will always outdraw green-white, and so I was able to establish an NT1 after we both cleared board. An NT1 and then a couple bodies that kind of helped me turn the game back around. But honestly, in that one as well, Lupus is the one that won me the game. I was able to link Lupus with Mika, clear his rested Freedom, and then he had a wing on board, so he had to trade his wing into my Lupus to kind of clear.
Yeah, it sounds like all your really close games was Lupus coming through.
Came down to Lupus just it's something they have to deal with. It's a 5/5 body, so it's a house, and then just the flexibility of deciding when to ping, what to ping is really, really, really nice. And then the last game I played against was a purple-white, and he kind of messed up. He had 4 blockers on board, and then he swung with his Freedom for suppression to get me into a point where the next turn he would go for lethal, and I bursted an Amuro, and then already had an Amuro in hand. So I was able to double Amuro 2 of his blockers. He had a Kusanagi up, but with being able to rest both blockers, like he traded into one blocker cleared base, and then the last unit I had on board went the game. And so those were my 10 rounds.
Damn, 10 rounds. That's a lot of games.
Yeah, there was a pair up in the 9th round. It was actually someone from the area too. So if they would have won, the tournament would have ended in the 9th round. But because my losses came so early, and one of the guys I lost to ended up like 6-4, my tiebreakers were pretty bad, and so the 10th round was actually good for me because I was climbing.
Got it. Okay, so it came in clutch.
30 places with every win. So I won the last 4 in a row, which kind of brought me up to top 32.
Awesome.
But no, the event itself was really well run. The judges were all very, very helpful. They were all, the moment you went up to them with any questions, they helped out. They were kind of on it. The staff that ran the event was really, really good. The only negative thing about the weekend, I think, were side events. The space that they had was really good for the tournament, but not the most amazing for side events. There were a lot of people, and so I know like Sunday was mainly all Gundam side events. There were people there from like 8 in the morning waiting to get in. They only did 2 2v2s, and I think it was only either 16 or 32 teams for each one. And then after that, like they didn't have any other 2v2s, and that's kind of what everyone wanted to play. And so there were 2 full lines of people waiting from 8 in the morning to try to get into those. I know like I was only able to get into one side event, and we waited in line for like 2.5 hours to get into a 32 man. And so from this weekend, you could tell that there's a lot of interest in the Gundam community for 2v2s. So it would be nice if Bandai would host some more 2v2 events for sure. So
awesome.
But yeah, no, shout outs to Booster Box. The event itself, the main event itself, ran really, really smooth. And I heard the same thing from Union Arena and Digimon that was run on Sunday. So that was my experience. So
awesome. So then we're gonna see you with your next deck profile, top 16 from Peoria.
That is the goal. I am aiming to go to Peoria. Hopefully I can get top 16. I definitely won't be running blue purple at that event.
It's a whole different meta.
It's gonna be a completely different meta with GDO4 coming out this weekend, and so I'm excited to try out some of the new things.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Fernando. We'll see you at the next video.
Appreciate it. Bye.